Hey girl, hey, and welcome to the Self-Love Fix podcast, where we get relatable, we share tea, and we support each other on this journey of self-love, self-worth, personal development, self-esteem, and self-care. Because why wait until it's too late to start becoming the best version of ourselves? Let's start today. And I'm your host, Beatrice. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Beatrice. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well, as usual. Okay, so it is a new month. I know we're, 7 days into the month, but it feels like it's the beginning. Okay, last time I recorded, it was still October. So welcome to November. And because it's the top of the month, you know what that means. It's time to give you a new book recommendation. My book recommendation for this month is Everything is Figure-Outable by Marie Forleo. So with this book, it is such a gem. My favorite thing about this book is the fact that she has such an optimistic view of the world. If you didn't know who Marie Forleo is, she's an entrepreneur, a multi-passionate entrepreneur, but this book is applicable to everything. You know, she kind of encourages you that everything is going to be okay no matter what your situation is, if it's financial, emotional, relationship-wise, everything. Like, she has this saying that everything is figure-outable, and this book has been amazing. I love it. I think everyone should read it. I find myself kind of just telling myself everything is figure-outable whenever I just feel like it's not. So that's my book recommendation. I try to switch up the book recommendations between things that have to do with healing from emotional abuse or, encouraging you to pursue your passions, personal development. Now, thank you guys so much for everyone who has put in reviews. We are now at 220 something reviews, which is crazy. Like, they just started coming and pouring in out of nowhere. I thank you guys so much for sharing this podcast or even Instagram with your friends and your family and leaving reviews. I love reading them. I just can't believe every day. I can't believe how much you guys are learning from this and how much you are benefiting from this, because that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. Is this teaching you things? Is this helping you heal? Is this helping you learn how to love yourself? That's the whole goal. So thank you. Like, a lot of the times you guys are like, thank you. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking a chance on learning about yourself, loving yourself, and healing what you've been through. So now, with that being said, this week's episode is all about self-awareness versus self-consciousness. I think this conversation is one that I've been trying to figure out how to execute, and I finally did. I think it's important that we understand that there's a difference between, because some of you guys will tell me, like, how do I become more self-aware? But then your self-awareness might look like self-consciousness. So let's talk this week about what does that look like? What is self-awareness versus self-consciousness, and why are these two different things? You ready? Because I'm ready. Okay, so let's start with self-consciousness. Self-consciousness, it's funny because the word conscious is in there, but I think self-consciousness is everything but conscious. Self-consciousness has everything to do with how you perceive everything that's going on outside of you in relation to yourself. So with self-consciousness, people who are self-conscious are preoccupied and worried about how they are being perceived by others. So a large majority of their time goes to, what are other people thinking about me? What do they feel about me? And what can I do to sort of help them see me in a different way or in a positive way if they aren't already, kind of a thing. And maybe you've experienced this. Maybe you're used to being hyper aware of how other people perceive you and feel like you need to people please and cater towards them to try and get them to see you in a better, what you perceive to be a better light, right? And if you've grown up, with emotional abuse and childhood trauma, and you never really learned that you are worthy, that you are beautiful, that you are smart, that you are great, that you are all these good things, and if you didn't grow up with a healthy self-esteem, self-consciousness is going to be your primary way of judging and evaluating yourself. It's going to be your primary way of seeing yourself, which is through the eyes of others, which is what I'm hoping that these podcasts and everything that I do is trying to help you to move away from, is that self-consciousness. We don't want to do that, but I don't want to shame you if that's something you do, because again, as I always say, everything goes back to our childhood, everything goes back to what we've experienced. And if you've never learned how to love yourself and view yourself in a good light, most of your thoughts are going to be around, how are other people perceiving me and what can I do to get them to like me? That's going to be your number one concern, is, am I well liked? This is something I used to do all the time, is like, I would think in my head, like, okay, do these people like me? I kind of feel like people are pulling away from me. Why don't they like me? I must have done something that made them not like me. That's what we call self-consciousness, is being fearful, is being preoccupied with what other people think about us. A big way that self-consciousness permeates through the way we think is when we think about or when we talk about our bodies, especially with women and how our bodies look, a lot of people are self-conscious about their bodies, meaning how do other people perceive my body, whether it's my body is, quote unquote too thin or quote unquote not thin enough, for lack of better words. And I really hate using the dialogue of thin, if you haven't noticed. And if you're living in the US, and pretty much most Western countries or Westernized countries are under the impression that being thin is equal to being beautiful, which, girl, that's another story for another day. But I'm always constantly saying that everybody has a different body, and thin doesn't equal beautiful. And from a dietitian, that's me, a dietitian's point of view, thin doesn't equal healthy either. But like I said, totally other conversation. But before I lose before I lose my train of thought, that doesn't take away from the experience that people have with their bodies and being genuinely and truly conscious, self-conscious of how are other people perceiving my body, how are they, what do they think of it. That's something that happens to a lot of us. It drives some of us to eating disorders, unfortunately. Well, that's one piece of the puzzle. We won't go there. Eating disorders happen for a number of reasons, but that could be a reason for either eating disorders or disordered eating or excessive exercising or excessive just self-hatred towards our bodies. It's 9 times out of 10 because the focus is on the outside. Like, what are other people thinking about me? Now, what we want to move to is self-awareness. Self-awareness is how we want to be thinking, not in a space of self-consciousness, but self-awareness. So what's the difference? Self-awareness is how you view yourself. It's not how other people view you, it's how you view yourself. So with self-awareness, the primary concern is, how am I feeling about the way I am portraying myself, or the way I am, or what energy I'm giving off. Self-awareness is all about, how do I feel about the way I'm positioning myself? Am I being true to myself? Am I being my best version of myself, or am I being the me that I truly am? That's what self-awareness is, right? And self-awareness doesn't nag at you or gnaw at you like self-consciousness, because that's what self-consciousness does to us. It's our minds are constantly racing and thinking about what are other people thinking about us. But with self-awareness, if you're a self-aware person and you're focusing your energy on, what do I think about me? What do I feel about me? What that looks like is your energy is directed back towards you only when you kind of need it to be. So you're not sitting there constantly thinking, okay, do I like myself? Do I like how I sound? It's not like you're some kind of robot. Instead, it's just kind of like, maybe you're interacting with someone you don't normally interact with, or you're in a situation you're not normally in, and you're checking in with yourself. Like, how do I feel? Am I being true to myself in this situation? Am I doing the things I want to do? Am I getting peer pressure? Do you see what I mean? It's a check-in. Self-awareness is more of a check-in than anything. It's not a constant critique. It's not a constant judgment. That's what self-consciousness is. Self-awareness is more checking in with your energy, checking in with how you feel, checking in with you, checking in with your level of comfortability. It's concerned with your well-being. That's the best way to put it, is that's what self-awareness is. It's being concerned with your well-being. So there's a line in the song Lost Souls by the artist Her that goes, confusing self-conscious with self-confidence. And that's like the crux of what I'm trying to communicate here, is that a lot of us confuse being self-confident with self-consciousness. So when you talk about confidence and when you talk about being self-aware, we're talking about being concerned with how we feel about ourselves, whereas self-consciousness is being concerned with how other people feel about us. So in this healing journey of healing from codependency, healing from emotional, sexual, physical, mental abuse, and learning who we are, and healing from low self-esteem and trying to find our own sense of self, a huge thing to remember is to try and navigate ourselves away from what other people think and into what we think about ourselves. And that's not something that's easy to do. Okay, it takes time, and sometimes it takes a little help. I'm going to be honest, girl. And that's what I hope that I'm teaching you. I hope that I'm helping you get there. And honestly, if you are feeling ready to take that next step into really learning how to be more focused on your thoughts, more focused on who you are, and more focused on what you feel about yourself as opposed to what other people are thinking about you, you should really click the link in the bio to get your hands on the 5 daily tips of how to stop caring about what other people think about you. It's a guide that I made, a PDF guide. There's going to be a link in the bio, but if you don't see, or in the show notes, if you don't see the link, or if you can't click on it at this time, or at the time of the recording of this podcast, it's at beatricekamau.com. You can snag it right there, and that's, my last name is spelled Kamau, so beatricekamau.com, because you know what? A lot of us need that extra help, because I always say, most of us who are listening to this podcast don't have the tools, did not grow up with the tools to know how to love yourself, know how to come into who you truly are. And sometimes you need to get some help. You need the tools. And I am a big, big believer that within us is all the answers. Within us lies all the answers for everything we need to know about who we are and who we want to become. But sometimes we need a little tug, or we need a push, or we need something to help reveal where those tools are and how to access them. And girl, that's really what I'm trying to help you do. Otherwise, I really hope that I was able to communicate to you the difference between self-awareness and self-consciousness, and why I want you to be self-aware, and I want you to walk and navigate this earth with the knowledge that what you think about yourself is paramount. What you think about yourself is the most important thing. I know people in your life have told you, things that aren't so nice about you, or have told you that you're not gonna be this, or you're not gonna be that, or you're too this, or you're too that. But what I want you to know is that what you think about you is what matters most. People can talk day and night. People are gonna talk about you until the day you die. I think that was Medea that said that. People can talk about you until the day you die, and there's nothing you can do about it. At the end of the day, what do you think about you? At the end of the day, are you in tune with your energy? Are you in tune with how beautiful, wonderful, and amazing you are? And if you aren't yet, that's okay. It's all a learning process. But I hope that you'll take the next step into doing that, into making that time and that space for yourself to be able to do it. And if I haven't communicated it enough already, I want you to know that you are perfectly capable. I know it may seem like, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know, I have no self-esteem, or I have completely low self-esteem, so much so that I don't know what to do. No, I know that that's how you feel, but it's not where the story ends. Like, because that was me too. I say it I say it all the time on here. That was me too. I'm telling y'all, I had the lowest of low self-esteem, and I'm gonna gear up to tell you guys my story eventually. But I had the lowest of low, and I hope I've been giving bits and pieces, because I feel like I have. But I had the lowest of low self-esteem, never ever thought that I was going to be secure in myself, and I did it. And if I could do it, you can do it too. And I hope that this podcast was helpful. I hope that all the tools and resources that I share are helpful. And, I hope that every day that you're investing time into yourself to get to know yourself better, to get to be the person that you always were underneath. And even though it doesn't seem like it, it's working. If you're dedicating some time every day to journaling, to reading something new about self-love, to listening to media, podcasts, engaging in content, or whatever you're doing to help with your personal development, you're getting there. It's just going to take time, but hang tight. You're going to get there. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope it was helpful, and I will catch you same time, same place next week.